philosophical anchor: why wealth must serve purpose, not ego. Have you ever felt like no matter how much money you earn, something still feels missing? You climb the ladder, you check the boxes, you build, you hustle, and yet there's an ache, a whisper, a quiet but relentless question: is this all there is? You see, most people chase wealth to silence their fears, to prove they matter, to feel enough. But what if I told you, wealth without philosophy is like a ship without a compass? It moves, but it drifts. It grows, but it loses itself. In this video, we'll go on a journey, a deep dive into the philosophical anchor of true prosperity. We'll explore why wealth must serve purpose, not ego, and how, when it doesn't, it destroys everything in its path. This isn't your typical motivational video, it's a wake-up call, a mirror, a map. So if you're tired of empty success, if you want wealth that's not just rich but right, then stay with me. Because what we're about to uncover might just change everything. 1. The silent tyranny of ego. Let's start here. The ego doesn't want wealth, it wants applause. It's not seeking impact, it's craving validation. It's why some people buy mansions they never live in, cars they don't love, and titles that mean nothing to their soul. They're not building lives, they're building mirages. You see, ego uses wealth like a mask, to hide wounds, to cover insecurities, to scream, "Look at me, I made it." But the more ego consumes wealth, the more it burns through your joy, leaving ashes of comparison, envy, and fear. Let me ask you, have you ever bought something expensive? Not because you needed it, but because you wanted others to see it. We've all been there. It's not shame, it's programming. Ego wealth is loud. Purposeful wealth? It whispers, but it transforms. 2. The philosophy of enough. The Stoics had a word for this, arete, the pursuit of excellence aligned with virtue. They believed wealth was never bad in itself, but wealth detached from meaning, dangerous. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In today's world, the richest man isn't the one with the biggest bank account. It's the one with clarity. Purpose makes wealth clean. Ego makes it corrupted. Let's use a metaphor. Imagine wealth as water. Purpose is the vessel. Ego is a hole. No matter how much water you pour into a leaking ego, it will never be full. 3. Real-world collapse of ego-driven wealth. Let's talk about real stories. The fall of a tech titan. John was a Silicon Valley genius. By 35, he'd built $1 billion company. He had the cars, the jets, the interviews. But beneath the glamour, he was lonely, paranoid, addicted to comparison. He wasn't building a mission. He was feeding an identity. Eventually, the stress caught up. His health collapsed. His team left. His company imploded.
Yeah, it had money, but it has no meaning. Let's look at the rice farmer who taught abundance.
In the emerald green hills of rural Bali, far from the flashing lights of Wall Street or Silicon Valley, lived a 70-year-old rice farmer named Ketut. He had no bank account, no investment portfolio, no social media presence. To the outside world, Ketut was poor.
But when a curious tourist asked him, "How do you measure your success?" Ketut smiled, sun-wrinkled and serene, and said, "I plant for my grandchildren. That is my wealth. Let that sink in. Not for a paycheck, not for a market, not for ego, but for legacy." Every morning before dawn, he walked barefoot into his rice fields, not chasing productivity, but practicing presence. The soil was his scripture, the rain, his rhythm, the harvest, his heartbeat. Around him, generations gathered. Children ran barefoot. Neighbors shared meals. Laughter echoed louder than any stock ticker. He didn't have 1 million followers, but he had people who would follow him into the forest because they trusted his hands, his heart, his soul.
In contrast,
thousands of miles away, a tech entrepreneur named Daniel sat in a high-rise suite overlooking Manhattan. He had everything modern wealth could buy: multiple startups, a luxury penthouse, an enviable Instagram feed. But deep inside, he felt bankrupt, disconnected, invisible, even with all eyes on him. One man chased visibility, the other served continuity.
So tell me, who was truly rich?
What you most know today is that true abundance isn't measured in digits. It's measured in depth, in how many lives you touch, not how many headlines you get. Real wealth is planting seeds. You may never see it grow, but your grandchildren will. Now let's go scientific. Your brain doesn't just want money, it wants meaning. Some studies in neuropsychology show that when people engage in purposeful work, their dopamine response is deeper, more sustainable than material rewards. Ego-driven wealth lights up short-term dopamine circuits, quick highs, fast crashes. But purpose activates the default mode network, the part of your brain tied to reflection, story, and long-term fulfillment. When wealth aligns with contribution, your biology rewards you with peace. When it aligns with ego, your biology keeps you in a loop of addiction. It's not just philosophy, it's chemistry.
Philosophers on wealth and purpose, energetic. Let's dive into the minds of ancient and modern philosophers. First philosopher, Marcus Aurelius. Wealth is not the proof of virtue. Your use of wealth is thoughtful. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Informative. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king and Roman emperor, didn't just sit in marble halls giving speeches. He wrote privately to himself, reminding his own soul what it meant to live with honor, discipline, and virtue. Long pause. In today's world, we flip the script. Instead of being good, we debate what looks good. We wear virtue as a brand, we use charity as a caption, we parade kindness as content. But Marcus didn't care how things appeared, he cared how they were. And here's the truth he would remind us today. Wealth is not the proof of your virtue. The way you use your wealth is. Do you use money to dominate or to uplift? Do you invest in your image or in your impact? Modern success is often measured in visibility, but Marcus would tell you, the quiet act of integrity matters more than the loudest act of ambition. Determined. In a world chasing claps, he chose character, and so must we. Second philosopher, Nietzsche. The why behind your wealth must be stronger than the fear of being forgotten. Intense. He who has a reason to live can bear almost any how. Friedrich Nietzsche. Thoughtful. Friedrich Nietzsche wasn't a man of easy truths. He challenged humanity to stare into the void and ask, why are you here? Why do you suffer? What gives your pain meaning? Short pause. Now translate that to wealth. Everyone wants freedom, but few ask, freedom for what? Everyone wants success, but a few questions, to what end? Emphatic. You see, Nietzsche's truth is brutally clear. If your reason for wealth is shallow, your strength will crumble in the face of adversity. If your reason is deep, you will move mountains. If you build wealth just to be seen, just to be known, just to silence the noise of not feeling enough, then you will always be chasing. Inspiring. But if your why is tied to healing, to building, to transforming lives, to ending a generational curse, then no obstacle will stop you. This is because your wealth becomes mission fuel, not just ego food. Your purpose must be stronger than your fear of being forgotten. That's how you build something eternal. Third philosopher, Viktor Frankl, logotherapy, said that wealth gives you a stage, but purpose gives you the script. Reflective. Meaning is not something you find, it's something you give. Viktor Frankl. Long pause. Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, witnessed the worst of human suffering and still emerged with the belief that the last of human freedoms is the ability to choose one's response. He developed logotherapy, a philosophy that says, meaning isn't hidden under a rock. You don't wait for it to arrive. You create it. You assign it. You live it. Now, think about wealth in this light. Money gives you resources, it gives you reach, it gives you a microphone, but that's all it is, a stage. Without a script, you're just ad-libbing your way through life, and the audience will never remember you. But when you bring purpose, your why, your pain, your passion, your intention, to that stage, you don't just speak, you transform. Wealth without meaning is noise. wealth with purpose becomes a movement. And that, Frankl would say, is the highest human achievement. To turn suffering into story, money into meaning, and life into legacy. The 5 anchors of purposeful wealth. Let's get practical. Here are 5 philosophical anchors to guide your prosperity. 1. Contribution over consumption. What are you building that outlives you? Wealth must serve others to feel alive. The moment it stops contributing, it starts decaying. 2. Legacy over luxury. Luxury is sweet, but fleeting. Legacy is often invisible but immortal. Ask yourself daily, what footprint am I leaving behind? 3. Silence over show. True wealth doesn't need to prove itself. Ego says, show them. Purpose says, serve them. 4. Mastery over money. Chase mastery, money follows. Chase money, mastery disappears. Wealth earned through excellence is anchored. Wealth earned through ego is vapor. 5. Depth over drama. Shallow riches are noisy. Deep purpose is magnetic. Exercises to align wealth with purpose. Try these journal prompts. What do I want my money to mean? What do I want people to feel after encountering my work? What would I still do even if no one clapped? And try this ritual. Before spending or investing, ask, is this about healing or impressing? When ego returns, because it will, you won't kill your ego, you'll learn to outgrow it. Ego is like an old friend with bad advice. You don't need to fight it, just stop following it. And when you find yourself slipping, pause. Ask, what would purpose do? Final story. The man who lost everything to find it all. Michael was a wealthy consultant in New York. In 2008, he lost it all. Depression followed, then reflection. He sold his apartment, moved to a cabin, wrote. He started mentoring inner-city youth. Not for profit, but peace. 10 years later, he was wealthier than ever, emotionally, relationally, spiritually. He said, I lost my empire and gained my life. MetaRich Manifesto. At MetaRich we believe true wealth begins in the mind. Purpose is the compass. Philosophy is the anchor. Ego is the storm, and you are the captain. Steer wisely. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to MetaRich, where deep thinking meets true wealth. Drop a comment. I choose purpose over ego. Share this with one person chasing wealth, who might be forgetting why. Thanks for watching.